So I have something that some of you probably already know this, but some of you may have noticed, maybe not. But I'm hard of hearing, and I have these hearing aids, and I've had hearing aids majority of my life. Long story. Anyways, I'm not completely deaf, but my hearing has been getting worse progressively, and point to where it's just really frustrating. Kind of like without my hearing aids, it's like being underwater. If you're underwater, you know, you can hear sounds and you might be able to hear conversations, but it's really, anyways, muffled, you know. And so anyways, I got these through my insurance, got these new hearing aids, finally. They're freaking awesome. Okay, they're really awesome. They are Bluetooth enabled, and I have not been able to hear these things that I can hear now. Like, okay, this. You hear that? I didn't know that, you know, rubbing your skin has a sound. I did not know that boiling water had a sound. Okay. When I came home, I was just tripping out because we have a very loud house. I already knew that. We have 4 kids and a man, and we all can get very loud. And even with my frustration of not being able to hear most stuff, I myself can get very loud. And so I came home and I'm like, oh my God, wow, okay, there's a lot of noise here that I never knew. Even now, still, I have sound that I'm trying to identify, trying to figure out what it is, you know. So when I got home, I'm like, okay, I told my kids, I was like, okay, mommy can hear very well now, and so please, no yelling. We're not going to yell anymore. Even I can't yell because everything was like so, my ear was so sensitive. And, you know, my older was like, nice. So anyways, I've just been like really personally tripping out on how much sound there was that I was missing out on. Stuff that I didn't know was there, but it was there the whole time. I'm tucking my kids in bed, and they have this fan. They like to have the fan on, you know, running. I'm like, man, that's really loud. Like, what's wrong with this fan? My kids are looking at me like, it's always been that way. It's always had that sound. I was just sneaking the other day while I was hearing the leaves falling off the trees and hitting the ground. You know, small, little, intricate stuff. And I was like, wow, that's a beautiful sound. Hearing the water boiling. I didn't know that was a sound. I was not planning on crying. I was thinking, it's so much like waking up, spiritually waking up. It's like getting hearing aids, and you're seeing and hearing and learning these things that you did not know was there. There's just things that you didn't know was there that you're seeing, and you're realizing that it was there this whole time. All this time, I had no idea that I was walking in deception. I'm learning daily on what it means to be woken up, and it can be very overwhelming, and a sense of gratitude, you know, when I can hear the leaves falling on the ground. The same gratitude I feel when I'm learning something new in the scriptures that has always been there. If I could show you guys. Here it is. This little tiny thing in both ears is causing me to put it back in. Here. It's causing me to appreciate even more. It's making me put in this perspective how much we can miss out on when we have our vision like this. You know, like when our beliefs are our beliefs and not the beliefs of the Most High, it's extremely dangerous. It's deadly. Okay, so when we don't have the assistance to hear or to see, they have glasses now with people who are colorblind. Have you seen those videos where they're colorblind and they put these glasses on and they can see all these colors and they're weeping, and it's, of course it makes me cry, everything makes me cry. But there's things that we have now that can plug us into what we're missing out on, thanks to technology. Thanks to the Most High, we have the same thing. It's the scripture, it's the word. That we can, help me find the words. We have His word to give us not only life and happiness and instruction and direction. His word can be our opinion. His word can be our vision. His word can be our ears. Because that's what it was meant for. The same word that we can read, same word that some of us have had all these years collecting dust on our shelves, the same word that we think is boring and puts us to sleep when we try to read it. That same word is the word that created this earth. Because when He said, "Let there be light," there. When He said, "Let the waters be separated," the firmament from above and below, and when He spoke things into existence, I'm getting chills just saying it. When He spoke, the plant just came out. Okay, let's look at this. I'm going to look at this here. Genesis 1, when He said, "Let there be light." That wasn't the sun. His word was the light. Same word that the Messiah said, that He was the light of the world. And the same word when He said, "You are the light of the world, when I am in my Father and I am in you." Okay? The same word, breath. That breath that He spoke, that came out of His mouth with His breath. That is what created everything. Light. Everything that the scientists are trying to still figure out in the universe and in the ocean. We haven't even discovered all of the ocean yet. His breath, His voice created that. Okay? That's the same breath, same life that's written in here. And the same thing that can give us hearing, ears to hear, eyes to see, understanding. When we dig into His language, the Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew is so rich. Even just studying the alphabet. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Those are just letters that have sounds and pronunciation, vowels, consonants, all that stuff. The Hebrew alphabet, each letter has an actual meaning. The first letter is Aleph. It means the bull, the ox. It means strength. The other things, I'll list them in here. The last letter is the Tav. Okay, sign is a cross. It's actually a cross. It means covenant. It means the end. It means a lot of things. Again, I'll put them up here. But when He says, "I am the beginning and the end," I am the Aleph and the Tav, the Alpha and Omega. In the Greek, it translates to Alpha and Omega, but it really is Aleph and Tav. And that there's so much power in those two letters. Two letters. And it was actually those two being put together. You need to look it up. Those two put together is untranslatable. And so it was in the original text, the original Hebrew writing, okay? And it was taken out between the Old and the New Testament about 10,000 times. It was taken out because it was untranslatable, okay? So then put together, I think it's pronounced Eth or F. Please forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. So, for example, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. You know, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. It's untranslatable. So there's so much that we don't even understand. Even the scholars couldn't understand it, couldn't translate it into our pitiful language in English. And I wasn't really planning on going on this tangent with the language, but you know, the very, very little that I know is that it is so rich that it is unlocking understanding. Just learning the alphabet, you know, and I'm hoping to be able just to do like little miniature, like something that my kids would understand, you know, that only I can understand, you know. My brain is small. But I want to be able to share that because there's so much richness in it, and his language is what he spoke when he created this earth. Okay. And his language has been translated into a language that we can understand. And that same word, even through translation, can give us life, can give us understanding, can give us hearing. It is life. Okay. And as a believer in the word, whether you call yourself a Christian or an Israelite or walking in the way, you know, a witness into the scriptures, however you want to phrase it, if you're a believer in this, in the word, this needs to be our opinion. Because when we make this our opinion, this unlocks hearing and seeing and understanding. Okay, I find myself using sign language right now. I don't know why, but it, you know, I've learned a little bit of sign language, you know, through the years, but for, you know, kind of needed it, but I've kind of forgotten it a little because I'm in a hearing world, you know, and so I don't need to use it all the time. I found that in some of my videos that when I was trying to speak to the people of my friends and my family members who are just not hearing me when I'm trying to say, just read the word for what it is. I realized when I was editing my old videos, and I was looking, I'm like, man, I'm using this when I'm saying, when I'm speaking of the Most High and His Word, I'm doing this. When I'm saying word and life, it's a sign for truth. Truth. And there's been studies where like when people, when they're bilingual, when they're trying to explain something to someone else who speaks the language that they don't know, they find themselves like trying to use all the language that they know to try to explain to that person who doesn't know something, you know. So like, for example, when I went on one of my mission trips, we were in Kyrgyzstan, and they speak Russian and Kyrgyz, and we knew like muy poquito minimalistic, you know, of the word. I knew like hello, goodbye, which I would get them mixed up, you know, thank you, that kind of stuff, and I've forgotten. But anyways, we were taking this taxi and we were trying to go somewhere, and me and the other girls with us, we were trying to tell this taxi driver where to go, and we were all trying to tell him, the poor guy was trying so hard, and we were at a loss for words, you know. And this was back in, you know, early 2000, or no, like 1999. So we didn't have, you know, phone, like text messaging and language translators and all that stuff that we have now, you know. So we had to like use our brain. And, you know, they spoke Spanish really, really well. And, you know, and I'm over here trying to sign to the poor guy because that's all I knew, you know. And they were like, you know, just out of habit, like Spanish words were coming out. And I'm like, man, what are you doing? You know, and then I'm signing. I didn't even realize I was trying to sign. The poor guy was so confused. But that's just kind of like habit, you know. So when I'm saying this because when I'm looking at when I've been editing my videos, I noticed I'm doing this. And I'm trying to tell people who aren't listening that I'm speaking truth, that His word is truth, is life. Okay. Get out of your religion, get out of your opinion, and read the word for what it is. And I'm not trying to condemn. I'm not trying to put anyone down. I'm not saying that I'm better. I'm trying to say that when you put yourself down and you lift the word up, you wake up. You are healed. You can see. I'm not trying to lift myself up. I'm lifting up the word, okay? Which is what we all should be doing as believers. People don't realize how much of the answer they have, which is here, okay? It is everything. And if you don't believe in the whole thing, I'm talking old and new, if you think the old has been done away with, if you think that the old is a burden, that you would be handed over to deception to believe a lie. I'm not making that up. I know that's something that I would have been like, okay, that's you just making that up. 3 years ago, you would have told me that, you would have gotten an earful of my old self's opinion. Okay, and I'm reading this from the New Testament. This is Paul. Okay, 2 Thessalonians 2. You should read the whole book. Okay, but I'm gonna read this part. Let's start at verse 9. It's talking about deception. Okay, people within the religion that's being deceived, and being deceived by Satan, who disguises himself as angel of light. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause Yah shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. And we know that unrighteousness is lawlessness. And lawlessness is when you sin against the Torah. The Torah is our way of having to walk. Sin is transgression of the law, his law. Okay. So unrighteousness, that's what unrighteousness is. You're not walking in his way. So, okay, so then you might think, well, it's talking about truth, like Jesus. Jesus is the truth. And yeah, he is the way, the truth, and the life. Yes, you're right. But the truth, what is the truth? And if you look at Psalms 119, 142, 119 is like my favorite chapter. I didn't even know this existed. Y'all need to read this. All of my years of being in the church, my whole life, no one ever did a sermon on Psalm 119. And I've been around hundreds of pastors, been on mission trips, been around the world, and shame on me for not reading this for myself. Y'all need to read Psalm 119, because this is the key of David. It's the key. It talks about the Aleph, the Tav, and the Yod, and the Gimel, and the Vav, and the Dalet, and the Bet, and the Hey, and the Zayin. These are all letters of the Hebrew alphabet. You need to read it. Psalms 119, 142. And your Torah is the truth. Okay, and I'm reading out of the Sefer, but in NIV, King James, whatever version you read, it's going to say, your law is the truth. But law is how the word Torah is translated in. Torah is the Hebrew word that can be translated into law, but it's basically instruction. Okay? So everything in the Hebrew language is like a picture. If you have a word in the Hebrew, you can explain it, even if it's abstract, you can explain it in a picture form. Like you can just imagine something and explain what that word means. Okay, so Torah, you kind of picture a father and a son father is trying to teach his son how to shoot an arrow. Okay, so you have a picture of a target. Okay, it's that over here, and the father is trying to teach his son how to pull the arrow and aim it and shoot. Okay, that's the instruction, how to hit the mark. Okay, and so when you miss that mark, that is sin. Sin is missing the mark. Okay, transgression of the law. Okay, so law is not a burden. Law is life. This law is our life. It's something that we, in my family, we are still trying to learn it. There's a lot in here. It's not just the 10 Commandments. There's 613 laws. And we're trying to learn them. We know that our Messiah was the ultimate sacrifice, is the ultimate sacrifice. Okay, so he took care of the sacrifice. You know, he is our high priest. Okay. Everything else is instructions on how to live, to eat, and in order to take care of ourselves, to live long. Okay? It's not a burden. It is how we see, it's how we can appreciate what he has done for us. You know, it's just, okay, think about this. So when the Messiah said, when he's talking about, in 5:17, I'm just going to read it. Think not that I have come to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. The picture of that is him pulling that bow, letting go, and hitting the target. That is what he did. Because everyone else tried and get caught. Some got close, but they failed. We all fall short. He pulled that bow and hit the arrow right on target. That's why he said, follow me. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life, because I walk it perfectly in obedience to my Father. Okay? So, think not that I have come to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Hit the target. For truly I say unto you, until heaven and earth pass, one yod, which is a Hebrew little marking, or one tittle, which is a little marking on the Hebrew language, like a little decoration. One yod or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the Torah till all be fulfilled. We know that prophecy is still being fulfilled today. And we know that heaven and earth has not passed. So we have heaven and earth testifying to our Messiah. It still stands. The sun and the moon and the stars are obeying the Torah, the commandments, the instructions that Yah gave them when they said, shine. When he said, shine in the day, you shine and rule the night. When he told the animals to do what they do, when he told the plants to grow, okay, you grow peaches, you grow plums, you grow whatever. Nature, everything in creation is still obeying the Torah. The Torah is instruction. We, and myself included, I'm not righteous, okay? I'm not trying to put myself above anyone else. No one is. Okay? I'm trying to help you because I love you to wake up. Walk in obedience. There's that song I've been listening to, So Will I. That was called When All Creation Worships You. What's that song? God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time, with no point of reference, You spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are formed. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. You have the stars were made to worship you, so will I. It's a beautiful song. It really is. But we need to think about what that song means. It's not looking at scriptures and thinking, okay, what does this mean to me? We need to look at the scripture and say, what does it mean to him? That's when your life is going to change.